Good evening, Graham. Go Dogs. We are here with your film review from the Orange Bowl with Graham Coffee. He's Dog Out West on the Twitter. I am Dog underscore Stats on the Twitter. My name is Josh Hancher. Graham, good evening. How are you,
Yeah.
bud?
Good, man. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So we're doing our show. We tried to do it last night, but we're working full time job and family and stuff, so we didn't get to it. But welcome
Yeah,
and
that
thank
was
you.
my fault.
It's nobody's
Just
fault,
so
man.
everyone knows.
It happened. So we're doing a couple things. First off, I did some fun stuff while I was cutting this game up. I had some. I'm not working right now, but so I had some free time. So I put the radio voice, Scott Howard, and the radio call from Z Man and the guys, and put it up there, and a lot of people saw it. So if you guys are just checking this out, this is our film review show. This is what we do. This is Dog Sports Live. I hope you guys will find this and enjoy it as much as you enjoy the actual game and those guys. So we're going to break down. We're looking at the all 22, which is something we don't really get unless it's a big game. So it's kind of even this is a
Yeah,
little
it's a
little different.
treat for sure.
Yeah. So all 22 is tricky to come by, and so we've got some of it. We're going to go through it. And again, thanks for checking it out. If you're watching our show for the film review, yeah, if you go back to our channel, you can see the full game in HD with the radio call. As long as it's up and we don't get popped for it, we're gonna leave it up there. But it's fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Right on.
Oh, one more thing. I am actually linking the plays that we're breaking down to in a separate video file. So if you want to go back and listen to it on the podcast, or if you want to try to scrub through the plays on your own or go back and look at them in more detail, it's kind of organized with some. I'm trying to just make it more interactive. So we've got all the exact same plays in the exact same order that we've got for you tonight. So if you want to go back and look at it and learn how to break down tape, just like Dog Out West. So I'm gonna send that link out right now. So hang on a second. Graham, talk for a second while I find this thing here. There we go.
Yeah. Well, so one thing I want to say about this game, you know, there was a lot of things I think that Georgia had been doing poorly for the last month of the season that we had talked about on this show, but the talent differential between Georgia and the teams they were playing over the last month of the season was so great that it really just didn't matter in terms of the end result of the game, but it bit Georgia against Alabama. I did see some things that Georgia did just to beat Michigan, but there was a lot of things that Georgia did not do well against Alabama that they did much better in this game. And, I think like I've seen the conversation happening already. We're going to have a full Alabama preview, so I don't want to fall too into that frame of mind. But I do think it's important to just kind of mention off the top that Georgia is the things that they did on Friday night against Michigan are sustainable and I think workable for a Alabama rematch in a lot of cases. But yeah, you got some metrics for us.
Yeah, I mean, just to show you right here, Georgia, hit their season average of right at 50% success rate, 7.7 yards per play, and a pretty damn good EPA there. And the explosiveness rating was a little higher than usual. We were like 1.25. So, and it's easy to look at those big plays that Burton and Cook and Bowers made and just think, oh, we're explosive. But that metric is it's a little more nuanced than that. So, but we were above our average explosiveness for the season. You can see that actually Michigan had a higher explosiveness rating, but that was because in a one game thing where you've got so many less plays that are successful, the plays that were successful actually inflate that a little bit. So you can kind of discard that in terms of looking at a head-to-head matchup for this particular game. But that EPA was negative, which is what Georgia has been hovering right at, allowing opposing offensive positive and negative EPAs. So that was outstanding. This was the second lowest success rate that and yards per play that Michigan had on offense this year. Wisconsin, which is right there on par with a lot of what Georgia did on defense in terms of efficiency, held them to a little bit lower. But stakes were bigger. This was a huge game. Georgia's defense, just as Graham's going to show you here in a little bit, was just outstanding. And we out talented them, we out hustled them, we outplayed them, and it was a hell of a lot of fun to be watching in section 304. I know that.
Yeah, there you go, dude. I know. I was so happy that you were there for like this performance. I feel like it maybe like the Grinch your heart might have grown a few sizes after that. Dude, you took the Alabama game hard. I'm not going to lie.
Well,
It put you in a bad spot for a little while.
It definitely put a lot of doubt. But this game winning and playing well cures a lot of ills. So maybe I'm one of the guys that the guys played with a chip on their shoulder about. I can take that. I can bear that cross. If I made Jordan Davis and Devonta Wyatt mad, I'm here for that.
UGA football martyr Josh Antrim.
We were great passing the ball. 55% success rate, 10.7 yards per play. And that explosiveness rating right there, you can see that we were extremely efficient on the passing the ball. I do want to, before we get into the detail, the film breakdown here, I want to look at the rush metrics. 45% success rate rushing the ball, which is pretty low. That 5.1 yards per play isn't bad if you look at it, but just think of that last drive, the sort of get on the bus drive that Dejon Edwards had a couple big runs. Very low EPA and a very low explosiveness rating on that offensive side of the rushing the ball. On the flip side, Georgia stuffed them. I'm talking a little bit of the offense right here. So do you want to talk about the rushing now, or you want to get into it a little later?
I do. Well, one thing I'll say, just because we're on the topic, a lot of what Georgia did, I mean, Stetson had 11 attempts behind the line of scrimmage. So those are rush plays, in my opinion. That is an extension of the run game. When you put Kenny McIntosh and Zamir out on the edge and throw the ball directly to him, that's not a passing play. There's not a big read that's happening there. And I mean, Georgia was 11 of 11 for 84 yards on pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage. So that's a little bit closer, up to 7 yards of play, which is if you're getting 7 yards of play in what's, basically kind of a run play type situation, that's great, right? I guess I want to credit Todd Monken, and we'll talk about this deeper as we're going through the film, but he did some things in this game to kind of make up for the fact that the interior of his offensive line has been shaky this year, and his offensive tackles, who have been very good, were lined up against two all-American defensive ends. And so I thought he kind of went back to the Clemson playbook in a lot of ways and found stuff that would allow Georgia to be productive in a run game type way, like those long handoffs across the field to Zamir and McIntosh and Cook and Bowers and McConkey. I think that that's a something that is a big deal for Georgia to kind of have found a way to supplement just power run, because they haven't been great in power run this year.
And then Stetson talked about that in his post game press conference, where he said that, or maybe it's actually Kirby, maybe the next day, talked about he checked out a lot of run plays to those. I'm assuming some of those plays that you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, that's what quarterback. It's easy to just look at the stats and metrics and whatever yards and all that stuff, but it's also getting in the right play, getting in the right protection. And I can nitpick on the rushing offense, but yeah, that's not. They talked about that. Get in if they got stacking the box for that run. You get the ball out to a playmaker. That's what you want to do. That's what we've talked about with Todd Monken a lot. So yeah, that was just a little bit of my little UAGA nihilist for you. I got still, and the Grinch is still in there. So one more game and we can exercise it once and for all.
Or he lives forever.
Hey. I don't want to hear that. All right. So you want to talk about the offense?
Yeah. So, I mean, before we start this, I want to talk about Georgia's first down. Todd Monken threw a pretty perfect first half when it came to first down play calls. And you and I talked a ton in the big long lead up to this game that Georgia could not be in situations where they were in 3rd and long and relying on Stetson Bennett to, sling 9-yard plus balls to convert first down and stay on the field. And Todd Monken agreed with it. You know what I mean? That the best play calls in this game, in my opinion, for the most part, all came on 1st and 10. And I mean, I'll once we get to kind of halftime of this clip, I'll go back and read off to you what the first down plays were, but it's pretty insane what Georgia did on 1st and 10. And that's not a pattern break. going into the Alabama game, Georgia had faced less 3rd and longs than anybody in the country. So, yes, there'd always been that stat out there of like Stetson Bennett's not good on 3rd and long. But the other flip side to that coin was Stetson Bennett's not in 3rd and long very much. So I think that's
we'll come.
relevant.
Yeah, it is very relevant. And I wanted to, Georgia had a 62% success rate on third down, 9 yards per play, and actually had a third yards to gain of 6.0, which is one of their higher ones for the season. But
See, but that's I hear you, but go through as we go through the first half, look at what the third down to goes are, because there was a 3rd and 22 or something like that in the second half. There was penalty and all that, but I guess I'm just trying to say, like,
it's not like it wasn't even a criticism. That's just saying, like, they had some 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s for sure. And I mean, I think we're saying the same thing here. But it goes to show you that there was 62% success rate on third down. So I mean, they performed excellent on third down overall. So and that was largely because we were, whether it's setup plays or short yards to go on third down, whatever it is. I mean, we're saying the same thing. So. But yeah, actually, I'm going to go back and look at that. Maybe I'll follow up with a stat and just, just see, take out the third down sacks where, you're just going for, but they converted a lot of third downs, like a 3rd and 11, and I'm sure you've got that play. So let's get into it. Let's get into the plays.
Cool. All right, let's do it. So yeah, like we were talking about, early downs was going to be huge in this game, and Georgia got themselves into 2nd and 1 early. First play of the game. What's been your weakness all year? Your guard play. So you just go right behind your guards. You got the puller coming around there, and they got Michigan for 9 yards. And I think like that set the tone for this game right off the bat. I believe that's McClendon coming off or no, that's Warren Erickson coming off the right side there, pulling around, meets that guy in the hole, does a really good job, gets that steal. And Zamir is, all of a sudden you're in a 2nd and 1. That's a really nice way to start this game. And then like you get this this little swing pass here. Really good look. Just wait. What? Nope, that's not the right spot. We're on the second drive here. We need to be on clip 2.
Hang on, stay with me. There it is.
Nope.
There's clip 2.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, you're 2nd and 1, and I've heard a lot of like analytics Twitter or, X's and O's Twitter talk about Todd Monken not running RPOs. This is an RPO right here. Really good look from Bennett to Mitchell. Erickson and Washington are going to come off the right side and pull. So, I mean, this is a run play if they want it to be, but you've got the big cushion up top. Mitchell and Bennett both just kind of option route this and recognize that they have an easy gain there, and boom, that's a quick 16, 17-yard gain. So good recognition by Bennett and Mitchell. And then right here, beautiful concept by Monken. Michigan, we talked about it. They play cover 2. They're always in 2 high safeties. So you send Washington and Bowers deep, and you force that safety to pick who he's going to go to, and Bennett goes to the opposite direction. But, I mean, you've got those 2 at the top of the formation there, both in 3-point stances. Bowers is going to kind of make a deep in route here. And I'm sorry, Washington's going to make the deep in route. And then Bowers is on kind of like a little bit of a wheel sort of concept. And I don't know. I saw some people kind of complain about that throw. It was almost an overthrow. It was kind of one of those that was good enough. It was a great catch by Bowers. I don't know that he scores a touchdown, like either way, even if it's a perfect throw, but first quarter jitters has kind of been like the Stetson Bennett story this year. So for that to go right, I think was a big deal for Georgia. And then is this
clip 5?
Clip 4?
Clip 4? Clip 4? Here we go. Watch this.
Perfect. Yeah. So you'll see the tempo. Like Georgia ran tempo in this game and got up to the line quick, did some things to keep Michigan's offense off balance, and then just these quick little out throws like we were just talking about kind of in the intro. Georgia has improved tremendously in terms of their downfield blocking. Just like these guys, this isn't a huge explosive play right here, but you're going to see so many instances on this film where wide receivers and tight ends are blocking their asses off. And I thought that was a huge storyline in this game. That was kind of the difference in Georgia's offense being as efficient as it was and being what it was against Clemson, right? That and Michigan's linebacker talent, but we won't go down that wormhole. Yeah, so here you're 3rd and 1. What clip are you on here? Is it 6?
Yep.
Yeah. So as much as Georgia's interior struggled this year, like seeing them get a stalemate in an obvious short yardage run situation, I think is a win. You've got a stacked box and you've got SVP, Erickson, Schaefer, all get on their guys. Nobody's blowing anybody off the ball, but they do enough to let Zamir crash in the line and get a first down. And they were really good in short yardage all night. There was not like a 3rd and 1 or that type of situation they didn't convert. And then boom, your 1st and goal. This was like the play of the day. Beautiful concept. If we go back, you'll see Bowers is lined up. Pause this right here if you can. So yeah, Bowers is lined up right here at left tackle, and you've got Sawyer over next to McClendon on the right side. And this is basically just like a modified zone read, right? Like you're reading the end. Bennett is reading the end, and he's faking it to Cook, and just whatever that end does. But as soon as he sees that end stay there, that's Ojabo, the all-world defensive end that didn't record a stat in this football game.
I'm gonna play it one time at full speed here.
Yeah, but as soon as Ojabo comes upfield, he's dead, and McConkey just makes a phenomenal block and drives his dude all the way back into the paint. So just really, really great job, I thought. I mean, that's porn right there, dude. That's what that is. That's football porn from Todd Monken. Right here, I'm at clip 15. Is that where you are?
That is what I've got ready to go. Here we go.
No, this is 14-0, second quarter.
Hang on. Sorry. I got another 15 coming up. Sorry. Yeah, they got scrambled. But 15. Here we go.
Sweet. Yeah. So here's another one of these little swing plays. This time it's to McConkey coming in more motion on the orbit. And it's kind of hilarious seeing Ladd like break ankles right here. I think everybody's underestimated his speed all year. And you're going to see that Michigan corner over there on the edge do the same. He thinks he's got an angle on him, and Ladd just shoop straight to the sideline. But here you are, right? That's a 1st and 10 play. You got the ball on your own 41. All of a sudden you're in 2nd and 1 at midfield. You love, you're up 7-0. Like you're in great spot. Warren Erickson, dude, when did you become this guy? Takes out 2 guys here on this play. Number 50, he gets that little seal, helps SVP get that seal, and then he climbs up to the 2nd level and pops that guy and opens this lane for Cook. We talked about the inside linebacker speed for Michigan a lot, and I thought Georgia could take advantage of it. This is one of those instances where they did. But the last thing I'll point out on this play is Jermaine Burton makes a really great block out of the slot. If you want to play that back in full speed, he's lined up in the slot, and he comes right there on the Orange Bowl logo. And, that's what turns that play from like a 6-7 yard gain into a 20-something yard gain. And that's where Georgia's gotten so much better this year. And it really showed off in this game.
Cool. There's a full speed run of it. And here comes clip 17.
Yeah. So heady played by Stetson Bennett here. He knows right after the snap that he's going to go to Cook on this check down because he sees zone and Cook is alone without a man on him. But you see Stetson wait for the rush to get upfield onto him, and he waits for his wide receivers to run those guys off in zone towards the end zone, and just basically just creates a situation where Cook is going to have 10 yards of green grass in front of him instead of 5 or 7. So really good recognition by him of what defense Michigan was in and just kind of baiting them into the situation he wanted to be. Cook's tired from just having a 20-yard run, so he doesn't take advantage of that one-on-one there. But that's like Stetson Bennett didn't used to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? It's impressive.
And like
So,
I don't know if he's gotten better at throwing those passes, but that was one last year that could have been batted down. I mean, that's one of the marks on him is that he gets these balls batted down, and that one he found his guy. I don't know if he's changed his arm angle or if he just was quick or whatever, but hey, it was a big play. So it was nice.
yeah, I mean, there was definitely some that you could see him sort of sidearm in this game. I mean, I feel like truthfully, 9 times out of 10, a batted pass is an offensive line issue. But
True. Oh yeah. But it's all about his height or whatever. But it's just one of those.
I know, but I watched Desmond Ritter get like 5 passes bat down against Alabama, and he's 6'4". So,
all right.
I always talk shit about this whenever it happens.
I know. I'm just trying to be positive, man. I'm just trying to be positive.
No, you're right. You're right. He's they put some lifts in his shoes or something. I guess.
Here we go. Here's clip 20.
Yeah. So right here, clip 20. So, dude, this is the touchdown for McIntosh. A.D. Mitchell. Everybody thought he was wide open, like on TV.
Oh no!
Looking at the all 22, he runs a disgusting route on this, like this circle route that he kind of runs back, like
head fake right there at the 10. There it is, right there.
Yeah, I mean, like he's basically kind of rolling through double coverage in a sense there, and makes himself so open that Kenny Mack just has to like flip it out there. And great job by Kenny Mack on making this look like a run play. A lot of times halfback passes look like halfback passes from the snap. This looked like a run play, and then all of a sudden he reared up and threw the ball. So great execution there. This is the Aiden Hutchinson. I know exactly what you're about to do, and I'm going to run to the sideline and stop it. Georgia was probably lucky to not have that pass intercepted, truthfully. And that wasn't really Stetson Bennett's fault. Like, nobody did anything wrong here. It's just a superb individual effort by Aiden Hutchinson. And this was kind of the one play he made in this game. He was pretty quiet. I mean, he got some rush, don't get me wrong, but it was a really impressive play by him. Yeah.
Next play.
20.
Nope. Yeah.
29.
Yep. 3rd and 3.
Okay. No.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They just started the second quarter, so they flipped the field.
Yeah. So this is behind Pickens a little bit. This is kind of a bad throw from Stetson, but Pickens just does a good job of being big, and he walls off that defender and kind of slows himself up a little bit. So good job by George there on just body control. But like these were the plays that Georgia made, right? 3rd and 3. That's another RPO action right there that Stetson chose to pull and take advantage of the one-on-one. And I think that's something that like he should be commended for, right? He did not shrink from this stage at all, and he was very comfortable putting the ball in his own hands and going and making the play that needed to be made. Clip 30. Awesome. Yeah, so you're going to see McClendon, right tackle here. He just misses the blitz pickup entirely. And Stetson does a really good job of getting that ball out in time and not having it batted or intercepted or something like we were just talking about a second ago. But look at the blocking here. It's not great. It's not superb, but that wide receiver is coming and getting hands and sealing and putting, I think that's Curious, into a one-on-one situation.
It's Jack saying it. Are you talking about Tyler's? Jack saying, isn't it?
I'm talking about Karras was with the ball in his hand. But Roseby was the blocker. Right. Roseby was the blocker. I mean, like that's what you want to see, right? Like that was not happening a lot earlier in the year with Georgia. They were not getting hands on guys in situations like that. This right here, man, I did not notice this in real time. I didn't even notice this like sitting on my couch watching the replay, but watch Van Pran on this play. He saves this play basically. Like there's an A-gap blitz that's going to come through, and he's going to turn around and catch him at the last second and pancake that dude onto the ground on 3rd and 1. And then McIntosh is able to scoot by off that left side. But like if Van Pran doesn't see that and make that play, that's a stuff in the backfield and a punt or a 4th and 4 type situation where you're going for it at midfield. So like little thing right there, but big result like in terms of possession and game state and score. So yeah, this right here is what we didn't see Stetson Bennett do versus Bama as much, and what
This is
he
huge.
yeah, this was massive, man. Like taking off, just saying, all right, my tackle got cooked here, and I'm gonna roll, and I'm gonna use my legs and my speed, and like I think he trusted his speed more in this game than we've ever seen from him, and like he's fast, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
that's that.
he needed every bit of it right there too, right there.
Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, he's getting chased by the guy that's about to be like possibly the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. You know what I mean? So I've known that he's fleet of foot, but he was faster than I expected. And then here we've got
This is 30. This is 33, which I don't even think you have on there. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is clip 33. Yeah, why did we
So
why are we doing this? Yeah,
this is like kind of this whole this is that little throw out to Zamir right here. And Fitz misses this block here, I believe. And kind of that play gets thrown out wide. But yeah, why, you're rolling, you're up 14-0. You're in 2nd and 9, and you split out your 3rd tight end, who's a blocking tight end, and make him a primary target, and just everyone's on the same page, nothing works. And so then you go and do it again on 3rd and 9. It just didn't make much sense to me. That was the only thing that the only call in this game, at least in the first half, that I really could question was, or have a second guess on, was that one. Yeah. And then I'm on 42.
Yeah, but this is Michigan offense. I'm not sure why that's 42. Let me see here. Let me check the other. I don't know why that would be for Michigan on offense. That's Michigan on offense. All right. I don't know why 42 and 40, because I've got them as 42, 43.
42 should be the 1st and 10 after
no.
The big Nakobe Dean tackle on the orbit motion.
I don't have those. I've got clip 42 and 43, but it's not those plays.
It should be the play. It's a 6-yard throw to Bowers. It's not that big a deal. Do you have 53? Or what is this right here?
That's 53. Yep, that's 53.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this play right here, this is a mentality play. And this was like, I talked about the Arkansas game, Georgia coming out with a physical mentality. We're going to dominate you at the line of scrimmage, point of attack. This is a 4-yard gain that turns into a 11, 12-yard gain because these dudes are running behind the ball and they're getting push and they're moving Michigan downfield. And, I thought Kenny McIntosh played a very, very good game for Georgia. Was more physical than I think we've ever seen him be. Did some things in short yardage, did some really good things like in between the hashes, some dirty work type stuff. And this was one of those plays where he, the guy that you expect to be in the bottom of that pile is Zamir. And, really that's McIntosh, who is labeled as more a finesse back, but he's out there getting a lot of yards after contact. Right here. Yeah. So this is the long bomb to Burton. Man, this probably could have been a pick, but it wasn't. And, when I saw Stetson throw it, I thought it was going to be short, but it was a great ball and it surprised everybody. And, Jermaine slowed down a little bit, but he never had to stop. And this is a this is a big time throw though, man. I mean, he's launching that from his own 32 opposite hash. Burton's going to catch it on the 25, 20. Yeah. I mean, that's that's all, that's like a 60-yard throw in the air, if not a little bit more, because you're going cross field that far. So I don't want to hear anything else about Bennett's arm strength. He's got plenty enough arm to run a vertical passing game with. That is my TED talk.
All right, there it is live. All right, one more time, and then just we'll jump to 72, right?
Yeah.
All right, that was fun. I was actually recording that from the stands for some reason. I never do that, but that was exciting.
I know, that was awesome. Yeah. And one note I'll make real quick. Sorry if you can pause, but I got this in my notes here. Throws 20 plus yards in this game. Stetson Bennett, 3 of 4, 145 yards, 36.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown. So
now, those are 20-yard receptions or 20-yard air throws.
A dot.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, that's when Georgia took their shots in this game, they had a lot of success. Yeah, and the other thing too, while we're talking about it, what we hadn't seen from Stetson was a good performance under, like, when pressured. That had been the bugaboo, right? We talked about that before this game. Was, his completion percentage goes way down. And Ed, when you did the podcast with him, you guys talked about how the variance there probably evens out, and McNamara probably has a worse game under pressure, and Bennett probably has a better one. He was 100% right on that.
100% right.
Stetson, when pressured in this game, 3 of 6. 50% completion, but 131 yards on those 3 completions for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 50% completion percentage is all you can hope for. And he was down under 40, 30, is almost like 30% completion percentage for the year, and making bad decisions, or not making bad decisions, but it was definitely a deficiency he had. But yeah, he played lights out against it, and not only that, against one of the best rushing pass rush teams in the country. So
right. And it's like, if the final form of 2021 Stetson Bennett is, you have to bring 5 or more to try and rush me and leave your guys in man coverage on the outside, and I've got enough wiggle to extend those plays and take deep shots down the field, that's a big deal for Georgia on Monday night. So
all right, clip 72.
Yeah. So no clue how Warren Erickson goes from making the plays that we was making in the first half to right here. First play, I'm just going to Olay this dude, start out the second half right here at right guard. Like, he has these great stretches, and I'm like, this dude could play in the NFL one day. And then it's like I don't know what it is. But he got beat pretty bad there. And then right here, next play, we're going to go to the left guard, and our old friend Schaefer just gets worked all the way across the formation and turned around and basically like taken into the hole, and the play gets blown up. 54. You see his back turn there. And I mean, it's not just him, kind of the whole interior of the line collapsed there. But yeah, it's like just the guard play on this team is so mercurial. It's just up and down, up and down. And then here's the one dumb throw that Stetson Bennett made in this game. Like, somebody said this on Twitter. I forget who it was. Oh wait,
hang on, that's not it.
74.
74. Yeah, the 3rd and 8 play.
Yeah, like, if you're calling a Georgia game at this point, which I know there's only one left this year, but like, don't call Stetson Bennett a game manager, because game managers don't do stuff like this. Like, game managers aren't, rolling out right, throwing across the body, trying to do all that. Like, he is a gunslinger, and sometimes it bites him. More often than not, it pays off for him.
Here's 78.
Yeah, 78. We talked in the pregame. I thought that Michigan's inside linebackers were slow, a step slow to the edge. And right here, like, that's a play in the SEC that I think is a no gain. And you see James Cook, he's able to get around that corner against that inside backer pursuing across.
Yeah,
and
because
that's what.
it's he had to kind of adjust it a little bit. I don't know, but he didn't hit him in stride there. He's got to come back and get it, and he still got it.
Yeah, he's
Got it.
got Dax Hill coming in his face, so he's got. Yeah, you're right. Um, right. So it's like he's almost. Yeah, he slows down and he still beats that guy to the edge, and it's like the flip side is watching Georgia's defense. They never get beat to the edge by anybody. Um, and then
It's
yeah,
clip
it's
80.
kind of unreal to. So this is just another one of those like run game extension plays. This is Zamir right here, I believe. No,
No,
Kenny
it's Kenny
Mack.
Mack. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of just I don't know, man. I was sitting here watching how successful all this was, and it's kind of funny to think about the fact that like Georgia really, other than maybe once a half, has not had this as part of their offense since week one. And they came out and just ran this stuff so effectively against, one of the best defenses in the country. I think there's something there that they can kind of go back to the well on in a week. So keep that in mind.
We do have more. Sorry, I thought we were done with the offense. Sorry. Here's clip 81.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is more, but respect to Monken in the second half for just being like, you know what, my guards aren't really doing what I need them to do. So I'm going to get out on the edges and I'm going to trust my skill guys, my tight ends and my wide receivers to block one-on-one. And they did. They did a great job of it. And I thought that, this was a really nice drive by Georgia. I think it ends in a missed field goal because of a holding penalty, but they were doing some really good things in terms of getting outside the hashes and moving the ball and getting guys in space. I thought this game plan was all about getting guys in space. And then, yeah, again, like we talked about earlier, Bennett here, he's going to see zone. And, oh, wait, no.
Yep, you went the previous play. Here it comes.
I'm on 82.
Yep, here's 82.
Yeah, he's going to see zone and he's going to wait for the wide receivers to clear defenders out. And he's going to know that his running back doesn't have a man-to-man matchup. And then he's just going to flip it out and easy first down. And it's just, that's heady football. It's smart football. It's a good job by him. This is an incomplete pass, but I want to talk about how good this throw almost is because this is another back across the body, but this is like a dime that McConkey probably should have caught. I think he almost caught it, but like this is a stupid good throw right to the boundary where only his guy can get it. You'd probably rather him not make it at that point in the game when you're up 24 points. There's never really any reason to throw across your body like that, but like he can sling the ball, man. He really can.
Well, it was a free play in a sense. If you pick it off right there, it's like I guess they could run it back, but he, like you said, he threw it to the boundary where nobody can get it, but his guy, or if it's interception, they've got it at the 6-yard line. So
yeah, it's 3rd and 22 too. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Third, it's like a punt. I mean, I guess you still want to kick a field goal there, but I think we missed it anyways. Yeah. 96 coming up.
Yeah, this is athletic as hell, man. This is like again, I didn't, we've talked about what Bennett brings mobility wise, but like this is kind of special, really. Like being able to get out of that situation and get a first down with that much rush coming on you, that's big deal. And then yeah, so clip 99, last offensive clip. I just think it's funny. Georgia's number 1 wide receiver is a tight end, and its number 2 wide receiver is a running back. And that's kind of the facts of this offense right now. And a lot of that is because tight ends and running backs match up on linebackers, and Todd Monken knows how to create matchups he wants and exploit those matchups when he gets them. But James Cook, I think we talked about him in the pregame as a potential MVP candidate. I know that they gave the offensive MVP to Stetson, which was definitely deserved, but Cook was, just a game breaker on Friday night, man. Like he was the guy that they couldn't guard.
Everyone loves James Cook, who's a follows the team closely at all. I've predicted him to have a breakout game so many times.
Yeah.
And I mean, I even talked about it. I thought Zamir would get a lot of carries between the tackles. It turns out, hey, like, what he checked out of those and got his ball, like you said, going quick throws that were effectively runs and stuff. And James Cook balled out in his hometown, and that was pretty awesome. I was really excited. I mean, obviously excited for everybody, but I'm so glad he's got one of those guys that ran it back to do something special this year. So I'm glad he got
For
it.
sure, man. Yeah, and it's definitely paid off for him too. It's been fun to watch him, do his thing. But I think just, dude, how much money has he made the last month of the season between like that game and the performance he had up in Tennessee? Like, he has that kind of Alvin Kamara sort of receiving ability, and that's what you want in a modern back. So,
all right, jumping into the defense if you want.
Yeah. So, first play here. Georgia usually plays like a kind of this odd mirror 5 front where they always have a spy on the quarterback. And that spy can decide to take off. So I'm not sure if that spy just took off here, but it looks like they're straight man across the board right here because they're only rushing 4, and McNamara gets loose up the middle and is able to, get 16, 17 yards on 1st and 15. But you saw him get up the middle that one time, and it never happened again the rest of the game. It was like immediately that, they became aware of that threat and decided to neutralize it going forward. Sorry, I can't talk. This is that flea flicker play. Just look at the back end of this defense. I mean, Lewis is 5 yards behind the primary receiver that's running this kind of cross post sort of deal over here. I believe that's Poole in the middle, or Chris Smith in the middle of the field. Like, they were never, ever, ever biting on this. They clearly did their homework and knew that something like this was to be expected.
Let me find clip 10 real fast. There we go.
Yeah. So Georgia took a minute to kind of get used to everything after a month off. You see Trevon Walker, defensive end, on the bottom there, and Michigan brings this boundary tight end in motion here, and he gets low and is able to cut block Walker and create that lane up the middle. And then you'll see in a little bit, the next time that Trevon Walker saw a pulling guy or a blocker coming across formation, it was a little different. But
here's the clip 11.
Yeah, so Georgia did better in this game at defending these kind of outside screens and swings. Like, the key to that is always just get upfield as fast as possible. And Kendrick and Walker, Quay, both got upfield here in a hurry. So, like, this is night and day from some of the stuff we saw in the first couple of quarters against Tennessee, where these guys were getting pushed back 6-7 yards on these types of plays. So that was something that was clearly an emphasis during the 4-week break.
Clip 12 is Kobe.
Yeah, so you're going to see him in his middle linebacker spot, and he's going to scrape into this hole so well, man, and come across the formation and just make that tackle. He played a phenomenal game. I mean, he always does, really, but like, just, you talk about a guy that erases so much all over the field. And then, so right here, slow this down for a second. So this is the exact same type of bunch set that we saw Alabama kill Georgia with, right? Like, that bring, either one or two guys off the line and try to confuse everybody at the snap. And William Poole is the guy closest to the line of scrimmage at the 41 right here. And he got burned on this a couple times against Alabama. And right here, he does what Georgia should have done that entire game. And he just gets up in that dude's face and does not give him any sort of free release and plays press coverage and just sticks on his man. And everyone else does too. So it's like, that was something that Georgia could not defend to save their life 4 weeks ago. And, obviously Jamison Williams wasn't on the field for Michigan on Friday night, but still, they looked like they were not at all surprised by what they were seeing. They looked comfortable defending it. They knew what their assignments were. So it's a good job.
And we talked about a little bit of Harbaugh will go for it on 4th down. And here it is, a first fourth down of the game for Michigan on offense, and we made it
Yeah.
another good play. Here we go. Here's clip 14.
Yeah, and look at the top of the field here, just the top wide receivers. Like, this is just lockdown D. I know that they throw this to the bottom to Scene's guy, this tight end that's kind of in the bottom slot spot here, off the line a little bit. But this is just really good defense, man. Like, the secondary, there's Poole again in that slot right there, 31, following that little route out towards the sideline. Like, everybody is where they're supposed to be, doing a good job.
Right. Clip 22. Oh, look, it's next up. Sweet.
Nice. So, yeah, Trevon Walker, we showed you him getting cut by that motion block once. This time, instead of bringing a tight end across the formation, it's going to be the center pulling, and he is going to end this man's life right here. Oh, my God. And jump in, make this play.
Solid. Let's watch it full speed before we move on. The play's been all over Twitter, but it's still fun to watch. And, on the All-22.
I could watch this like in loop all day and achieve nirvana probably.
All right. Here comes clip 24 is Beal, right? While we watch this Trevon play one more time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this clip with Beal that's coming in, great work by him. He does not give up on the play. He's lined up at the top of the line there against their right tackle, and he just continues working him back, and then dips inside. I think the other thing I would say, if we can run that back one more time, is look at the secondary. You're going to see Lewis Seen right here by this bottom hash. He sees this crossing route coming, and you and I talked about this crossing route on our pregame show and how many big plays they hit off of this style route right here, and he points it out and basically just comes and stands in front of it, which by that point the sack is happening. But like, these dudes watch their film, man. They saw everything tendency wise that Michigan was going to do. And it was kind of fun because like a lot of the stuff that you and I talked about on the show, they were clearly points of emphasis for Georgia in the build up to this game as well.
All right. I got to find 25, I think. Hang on. There it is. Dang, found it.
Nice. Way to go.
That was the one that's the one I knew I screwed up, not the other ones.
So this is the Quay Walker bat down pass. He's at the bottom edge here. He comes in and he's that fifth guy blitzing, but they've got that guy wide open down here by the 30-yard line marker on the bottom of the screen. And this is a bust by somebody because it looks like Kendrick is in man. He's the corner on the bottom of the screen. And it looks like, everyone else is playing some form of zone. So I don't know if like Tyndall was supposed to take.
Yeah, it looks like he's supposed to come down or something.
Or I don't know. Yeah, without knowing the call, it's impossible to say. But
that's a touchdown if he doesn't make that play.
It might be. Yeah, depending on how quickly somebody gets their back turned, but yeah, like they had something big there for sure. So Quay Walker, we talked a lot, right? Like, who is Georgia going to bring off the edge? What are they going to do to get some pass rush? Quay Walker was kind of the answer to that question on Friday night and was very good in his pass rush snaps and really disruptive and got his hands up. So, yeah.
All right, 26.
This is the Nakobe Dean God tier linebacker play where you're going to see him.
This is especially good on the All-22. This is like...
It's crazy. Yep. He's going to come all the way across and just erase. Silly, dude.
Do you want to talk about that more, or you want to jump into...
No, that's all there is to say about it.
Dirty.
It's just stupid good. It's just team speed, man. Like, Michigan people, we did our preview, and I talked a lot about team speed, and they were like, we're Michigan football. What are you talking about? You guys think team speed? And then one of them tweeted at me like halfway through the second quarter and was like, so you were right about the team speed thing. I was like, yeah, thank you. This is Jordan Davis. This will be on, you'll see this like 45 times during the NFL draft in April. Chasing down Michigan's fastest running back in the open field from behind.
Yes, Sully, who's Wetzel's producer, just called him like he looked like a grizzly bear tackling him. It
He
just
did, man.
yeah,
He
it was a
kind of did. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Just mauls him from behind without any hope of life.
Just not human.
Right. Exactly. Um,
37 here.
yeah. So this was different. So Georgia in this game, it played zone. When it played zone in the back end, it actually brought rushers. So Georgia's in zone in the secondary, but you're going to see Tyndall, inside linebacker, standing on the Capital One logo. He is going to rush off of that left edge, and McNamara does what he should and throws to where the blitz came from, and it's an easy little completion. But I liked that wrinkle because against Alabama, Georgia did a lot of zone in the back end and played quarters and stuff that they hadn't done all year, but they left 3 linemen or 4 linemen to go after Bryce Young. And this time when they played zone, they tried to force the ball out a little bit quicker. So I thought good improvement there from defensive game plan standpoint. And then right here, yeah, Robert Beal, he's not going to be he's at the bottom here, but really way better from him in the run game, man. This game, like he was not getting washed out. He was not getting worked up field. He comes in here and collapses that hole and does enough to just kind of get in the way of the back. It's a first down, but still, like the level of play from him compared to 4 weeks ago was pretty much significantly higher. Right here, Nolan Smith plays this perfectly. Just he doesn't make a choice. This is all about influencing that edge to go one way or the other, and he just squats on it and uses his speed to string it out and trusts that his other guys are going to come behind him. Really, really great job by him. And then this is the long pass play down the boundary, and Kendrick just underestimates the speed here, first of all. But this is what happens when you don't put hands on the guys at the line of scrimmage and when you don't disrupt routes and try and reroute wide receivers off the line. He doesn't ever try to play any sort of bump coverage here, and he gets toasted. Big of him to make that tackle. We talked about that. If Georgia gave up explosives, they needed to make the tackle, and he made that tackle and ended up being the difference between 3 points and 7 points. But I think that's like this whole getting hands on wide receivers in the first 5 yards coming off the line of scrimmage, that very well might be the difference between Georgia beating or losing to Alabama.
And that's what Ohio State did in the second half versus Utah. Maybe not, maybe less at the corners and the linebackers, but you just can't give them, just get up in their face, make it harder for them.
Yeah. So right here, this is the right spot. Okay. So looking at Kobe Dean.
Oops, hang on.
So he's inside linebacker with his hands waving there. So he's pointing out the orbit motion that's about to come. He knows it's coming, and he knows that it's going to be this fake. And so I don't even think he was supposed to blitz on that play, but he knew from reading and recognizing off film that it was going to take them a while to do this end around fake, and he's there to just sack.
So wait, hang on. So now he's calling. Okay, so he's calling this wide receiver.
He's calling
wide receivers coming around. So there's like you don't have to guard anybody. I'm going after him, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, like this is fascinating to me because what's his assignment if that's not the orbit? Like, I don't know. I just love this play because it don't mean it was. I just love it. I mean, he just came after him and just.
I mean, yeah, I doubt it's his assignment because there's no wide receiver to the top of the screen. So that's probably Ringo's assignment if that guy doesn't come across the formation. Nakobe's assignment is probably that tight end at the end of the line next to the receiver that comes in motion. So I think that his whole MO was just to go and I think he had seen that play on tape because they did that fake end around stuff enough and just knew like he'll do this pretty regularly. I mean, at least a few times a game where he will see a situation where he thinks he can get to the quarterback before the play develops and he'll just go. So I'm assuming that's kind of what happened there. Um,
52. Is that what I
Yep.
got next? Okay.
So yeah, Georgia learned their lesson from the Alabama game. They go here and bring 6 on 3rd and 8 instead of sitting in 3-man front. They bring 6 guys, force the ball to come out quick or get a sack. And here they're going to get the sack, I believe.
Yep. Or force him up. It may not have been a sack, but he got past the line of scrimmage. But yeah, it's a pressure. Yeah, got him on the ground. Got him on the ground is a difference.
Right, exactly. So just again, like lesson learned, game planning differences, things that you want to see, you saw. And then right here you see DK on the bottom again, and he's going to say, no more of this free release stuff. I'm going to press your ass into the boundary. He does press him a little past the 5 yards that you're allowed to put hands on the receiver, but these officials didn't really call much by the way of contact all night or holding for that matter, and pays off for him, and he's right there to make that pick. Here, I buy the narrative on Jordan Davis being sick against Alabama. There's been the rumor that he had the flu, and just watching him play in this game, it kind of was like, oh yeah, that's Jordan Davis. So that's him right there, just coming through, body slamming dudes. Impressive work. And then here again, you're going to see Georgia bring 6, and they're going to force the quarterback's eyes away from downfield and into pressure. And then Trevon Walker does the grizzly bear thing again from behind, tries to strip the ball. But yeah, this is one. Poole is going to be in coverage here on the tight end, but I kind of put this on Quay. He underplays this a little bit. He's in zone. He should have been, with the quarterback's eyes where they were, and you've got Dean. Like, I'm not sure, maybe, like, if he's a spy, I don't think that far off the line of scrimmage at that point. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's in the right spot, but it felt like one of those where it was like, just, it's a good throw.
On 3rd and 16, do you think he's on the line and he's just trying to make sure he doesn't get a first down and like loses, like almost like he's not defending the line to gain anymore, because that's where the ball's thrown, right at the line. But I don't know
about that. Maybe it's definitely, I mean, whatever happened there, it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a good throw. And I mean, that dude fit it over Dean to the, inside of Poole and underneath Dan Jackson. Sometimes you just say, you know what, you made a good play. Let's go do it again. If you can do it again, hats off to you, but I don't think you can. So
I lost my place. Where are we?
69.
69. No, so
super nice.
Yeah, it's a good spot to lose in.
Yep. That's on you. It's not my fault. All right. So yeah, we highlighted this play in our pregame breakdown, right? Remember that play I showed you where their tight end, Eric All, he stays in and blocked. He was on the bottom. He was on the other side of the line when he did it. It was against Michigan State. He stays in and blocks, and you think he's going to block, and then he just releases and lets the end come upfield. So he does it right here. So Kirby Smart, call me when you need a defensive analyst. Clip 70.
Clip 70, yeah.
It was like Nolan Smith.
There we go.
Played a phenomenal football game on Friday night. This is one of those team speed plays. He is lined up, kind of in an inside backer spot and just comes across formation, scrapes into the hole, does a really good job. It's like great lateral quickness by him. And then this is the pick from Kendrick, which kind of effectively ended the game, really. I mean, if it wasn't over already, it was at this point. But watch him play this ball. You can tell he was a wide receiver in the past. Like, the way he angles his body, the way he works his feet on the sideline, he, looks like an open wide receiver catching a ball in the end zone more than he does a defensive back.
It was, backbreaker.
Yep. Yeah. And then Nakobe in the hole right here on 3rd and 3. just, man, he's so violent when he comes free to the point of attack and meets somebody in the hole, and he's going to force this fumble with just that violence we're talking about. But great play by him. And then Nolan Smith, really good right here, working back across and getting the sack. So he's lined up at that left defensive end spot at the top of the screen, and he always keeps his eyes on the quarterback. And when that angle changes for him, he just disengages from the tackle and comes across. And I think it's technically a sack because he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. And then
here.
last but not least, what is this?
This is
Jesus. God, this is the Quay Walker.
Yeah. Just he's almost like playing hide and go seek. It's like
he kind of is.
It's like hiding behind the pine tree and just destroys him.
Well, it's like McCarthy, in terms of kind of how he moves and when he moves and where he goes, is very similar to Bryce Young, truthfully. And I think that just they were able to square him up a few times, and it'll be interesting to see because they're gonna force Bryce Young out of the pocket on Monday night some, and I think if they can put like a clean hit on him like that, it might just change the dynamic of that game a little bit. It may change, just kind of create that split second of hesitancy for him before he decides to start trying to go and prance through the back seven of Georgia's defense. So be interesting to see if they're able to bring that same kind of physicality.
Well, it was interesting that Kendrick got defensive player of the game. The targets for, let me see if I can pull up. They were 8. Ringo and Kendrick were
they were targeted 13
times, 4 receptions. Really the only big one was it went in the first half. And let me see here.
Yeah, he had 8 targets for 3 catches and 55 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And then, he only got a grade of 67.8. I mean, it's about getting pressure and not exposing those guys to having time to throw. I think that's part of any coverage. It's not just, Georgia and what they needed to do. But this is pretty, this is what, that's really, hang on, PF. Here we go. These are the corners versus each receiver. This is a pretty neat stat. I'll put this in the Dog Sports post too, because, you can see what their grades were against Darian Kendrick, and they're not good. His grade was 67.8, but no wide receiver. There was Roman Wilson, 4 targets, 1 reception. That was it. That's all he got. And then Ringo didn't, allow just 1 reception and for 11 yards. And it's a team effort. They call them what's the Wolf Pack, and they played great.
Yeah, they did. And I mean, I thought the secondary played just from an assignment standpoint. There was only like 2 spots where I was like, somebody messed that up, which 2 is, 2 can be 2 touchdowns against Alabama, right? 2, that can be the difference in the game. So I'm not trying to minimize it, but just they played, I thought that like in terms of how they played things at the line of scrimmage, it was a lot more press coverage. Everyone looked a lot more comfortable in phase. Like you didn't see Georgia, I think. Did Georgia have a pass interference penalty in this game? I don't think so. Maybe
yeah,
1.
they did late in the game, right? Late in the game.
Okay, yeah, maybe
there was like I don't think it was Dan. Maybe it was Dan Jackson, and then that was the one in the 4th.
I think it was Jackson. Kept You're right.
Yeah, I think it was Jackson. Late third quarter, and we held him out of the end zone on a 4th down.
Yeah, so I mean, point being, more like I thought that the secondary looked improved, and I mean, everyone talked a lot about the secondary and what it did and didn't do against Alabama, and that's totally fair. And there was some criticism to go around, but I think if the secondary will just, be assignment sound and not bust coverages and just be in the right places and do their thing and try and get these guys off their route at the line of scrimmage, that it'll be a dramatically different football game next Monday night than the one we saw back in Atlanta. So we'll get into all that. Obviously, we'll have a full preview show later in the week. But just if you're a Georgia fan, I think you saw things that you wanted to see, right? The things we talked about, like where was why did Georgia continue to only bring 4 when bringing 5 and 6 worked so well and kept their corners from being on an island? They did a lot more of that against Michigan. You saw Robert Beal look very, very productive at that edge spot against a seasoned tackle that was all Big Ten. You saw Nolan Smith get back on his game and be disruptive in a lot of different ways. You saw Georgia bring Quay Walker down off that edge in some obvious passing downs to because he's got that frame, right? He's 6'4" and a half. Like that's a lot harder to throw over than 6'1", 233, So I think that they did a lot of things adjustment wise that you would be hoping for them to do if you just sat down and watched the Alabama tape and said, how do you fix this defense? And I think the reality is like this defense, they also let these linebackers cook a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like they just let them do their thing and let those guys go and play man coverage, and they let those guys get loose and blitz, and they use the most talented position group and the entire team is that inside linebacker room. And they use those 3 guys and they let all 3 of them on the field a lot more often. And I think that's a big deal going forward is like, don't, I mean, they're going to have to rotate and I get all that, but it's like, you don't need to only have 2 of those guys on the field all the time. You can bring Quay down to the edge and put Tyndall and Nakobe Dean in a spot where maybe one of them's in coverage against a tight end or a running back or even a wide receiver, and you can feel comfortable with that because of how good and fast they are. So
it was a great game, and awesome breakdown, dude. Sometimes as a fan I've grown up watching broadcasts, so the all 22 stuff is not something I'm used to looking at, and I loved it. It was a lot of fun listening to you go through this, and it's like sometimes you feel like you can't see it, but the way you talked us through it was awesome. So great job, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And thanks for cutting up all the tape. And
we got more to go, man.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, but if you guys joined us late here on the live show, go check out our YouTube channel, Dog Sports Live. There's Josh is putting a lot of cool stuff on there, from the broadcast with the Georgia radio to the plays that we were talking about tonight. And so kind of some fun, like, I don't want to call it homework, but some cool supplementary stuff for folks to play with if they want to. And yeah.
Ideally, I don't know. I mean, you're going to be looking at some stuff like some of the press conferences, so I don't know how much time you got. But if there's a chance to do a Spaces, the idea of this is to maybe possibly, all of us, if you want to jump in the Spaces and be like, oh, clip 34, and we know what clip 34 is, what clip 34 is. So look for those on our channel, and we'll see. We're gonna experiment with it, see if we can add an interactive element to the Twitter Spaces thing, and maybe you got a question or go back to one of these plays that Graham's broken down. So that's the goal there, as we continue to just tinker with stuff and try to make it better and more fun for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. I do want to throw in a reminder, and I'll mention it again later in the week, but I am going to be broadcasting live from the Hooters across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern with
I'll be raising a Bud Light to the Hooters
on 680 The Fan. So come get your wings and talk Georgia football with us and hang out. But yeah, if you guys are in Indianapolis, I'll be there and would love to hang out and meet some of you guys. And if you're not and you're watching the game from home or whatever, hang out with us from 6 to 7 on 680. You can always listen to it on the app for free. So that's cool. And yeah, we'll have a lot more stuff this week. I am jumping on the Zoom press conference with the coordinators and stuff tomorrow. So that'll be fun to play around with. But yeah, man, I mean, excited, and thank you for all the stats and all the data that you're able to pull together for us. I feel like after doing this for like 2 seasons together now, man, like we have kind of like the dream. Well, you really have like the dream UGA library of data and film and all this stuff. So it's really
It's
enjoyable and fun to do it with you.
it's a lot of fun for sure, and and obviously we're growing, by leaps and bounds on YouTube and everything, and your Twitter following is getting real. So that's because we like having fun with you guys, and you guys make it worthwhile. So with that, Graham, I'm going to take us out unless you got anything to add, and we'll be back later in the week with an Alabama preview. Follow us on Twitter, Dog Out West and dog_stats.com. Check us out on dogsports.com. And please like, share, and review wherever you can, because we appreciate it so much.